Good morning, everyone. How you guys doing today? I am out in Pikeville, Kentucky today. Was out here had to run down to the DMV, and I thought I'd run by the Pauley Bridge here, and I wanted to show you guys something. This is, well, the old historic Pauley Bridge. And this thing has quite an unusual history about it. Now, if you look right up there, right above the keystone, you can see a 1936. And this was built from 1936 to 1940. It took 4 years to build this, and the designer of this, O.S. Batten. And I've actually been to his grave. I ran across his grave one day out doing something else. And yeah, imagine that. But his initials, OB, are somewhere on this bridge. I don't know if I can find them, but we'll take a look. But anyway, the unique thing, one of the unique things about this bridge, and you can see the huge cables going right across the road over there where it's anchored. The unique thing about this bridge right here, don't look it, but can you imagine driving your car across this swinging bridge? There are no A-frame trusses underneath it. It's suspension only. Now, this bridge was used until 2001 for cars. You could drive your car across here. Yeah. But another interesting thing about this, you see, when O.S. Batten designed this bridge, it was during Roosevelt's Great Reconstruction after World War II. It's between World War I and II. II was just about to get going, and was going by the time the bridge was finished, obviously, in 1940. But anyhow, when they built the bridge, the concept was not only to build the bridge, and Pauley Edition is on the other side of the bridge, just a residential area. But the thing about the bridge, you see, when Mr. Batten, he designed this bridge, he designed it to be aesthetically pleasing, pretty, functional, economical. You know, he tried to do it right. The thing about that was, we weren't trying to necessarily do things economically at the time. Okay? Now, y'all notice those big old stone piers on both ends? There's one there, and there's one on the other end as well. And I think that's where the initials may be on this other side. But the problem with it was that it was a little bit too economical. It made too much sense. It was too logical. Okay? You see, at the time, there were, like I mentioned, Roosevelt. They had, the Reconstruction, the New Deal, right? And the idea was to hire a bunch of people to do a bunch of work. And that was pretty much, about as far as it went. It was designed to create infrastructure projects, just like this one, exactly like this bridge here. But the way they did it a little bit different than they do things today, which pretty much covers just about anything is done differently than it is done today. But the way they did this, like I said, it was about putting people to work. And Mr. Batten's design, turns out, it wasn't labor intensive enough. It wasn't expensive enough. So we redesigned it, and they used cut stones. And there was all kinds of different little projects. This one here was called the WPA, the Works Progress Association. And there was the Tennessee Valley Authority. They did a lot of stuff. There was the CCC, which was the Civilian Conservation Corps. And if you've seen our video about Cabway-Lingo State Park, you know, the ruins, the old stone ruins and all that stuff. That was the same idea. The idea was to put people to work and, you know, give them jobs and give them a leg up instead of a handout. You know what I'm saying, right? Give you a job as opposed to, you know, we'll give you the money, but we need this bridge built, or we need this stone wall built. And like the CCC, for example, the Civilian Conservation Corps over in Cabway-Lingo, they did more projects that dealt with, say, wooded areas, right? They would go in and log and reuse the logs to build stuff, build cabins, or whatever the case may be. And, you know, they, like the rock, instead of just blasting it to little shards, they would actually cut the stone like this and use that stone in their projects. And it made it more labor intensive, made it more expensive. It put more people to work, because now you have to have another guy cutting stone. You see what I'm saying? And like I said, the whole idea was simply to put people to work and get some really cool infrastructure projects done. Bamboo. It's the only place I know around here with a really big stand of bamboo. I've got some small stuff near my house, but nothing like that. Look at that. This is the tallest stand of bamboo that I know of. But this is the tallest stand of bamboo I've ever seen personally. I had no idea it grew so thick till I came over here. I guess that happens being a hillbilly, don't it? You don't know about other plants from other places. But anyhow, it's really pretty, isn't it? Really pretty stuff. I'd like to come over here and cut some of this just for make some stuff, see what I can do with it. Anyway, back to our bridge. Now, the initials, I do believe, I could be wrong, we'll see if we can find them. There should be an OB somewhere on the bridge. I don't know, we may not even find it. But this right here, as you can see, this is Pauley edition. Now, no motorized vehicles. Back in the day, that's how you got across there. You drove your car across this swinging bridge. I don't know if y'all noticed it or not, but it was bouncing when I walked across it. So can you imagine, you know, just imagine trying to, you know, you're driving your car across this little swinging bridge. But anyhow, here's some initials. I see an LC. There should be an OB somewhere here about eye level, if I can find them. Maybe not. I don't know if I can find them or not, but we'll take a peek. They should be around eye level, if I remember correctly. Read a story about it. Look at all that bamboo. That is really pretty, isn't it? That is really pretty. I like that stuff. Look at all that. That thing is full of little kissing bugs. Nasty little critters. But there it is. I see it. OB right there. I walked right by it. OB right here. The designer's initials in the bridge. Almost missed it. I almost missed it. But I just thought it was, you know, it's an interesting bridge. You know, it's an interesting historical landmark. Not only for, you know, it's really pretty. You know, at WPA. Right up there on that keystone, you can see the WPA logo right on there. And like the CCC, their logo was a pine tree. And there's different ones, the Tennessee Valley Authority, and like I said, there was a whole bunch of other ones. But they were government programs, but unlike government programs today, like I said, it wasn't a handout. it was a leg up. And, you know, instead of we'll just give you this money to sit home, we'll give you this money, and we'd like you to, you know, build us a bridge. We'd like you to do this. We'd like you to do that. I don't know what that is. That is really wild. It's calcium leaching out. Wow, look at that. You can see it. Little stalactites. Yes, stalactites come down. Stalactites, if they don't hang on tight, they'll fall. And stalagmites are the ones that grow up from the ground. And the way you remember those, if a stalagmite gets tall enough, it might reach the ceiling. But that's just really cool, isn't it? Look at that. It's actually just building up. Look at that. That is wild looking. And these piers aren't that old. I think these were done in the 90s, if I'm not mistaken, when they made it a pedestrian bridge. I think I'll look at the marker when we get back to the other side. But that is just really cool, isn't it? That is really interesting. You know, just the old bridge, the concept behind it, the history of the bridge. You know, like I said, the Pauley edition. You know, this was built to service Pauley edition, so this section of land back here could be used. Of course, there's a road in now, you know, obviously. There's a regular road now. But I just thought that was really cool to bring you guys over here and, you know, video this old bridge, tell you the old story. And I mean, look how they made this. It looks like just little pieces, bits and pieces left over from other projects, you know, welded together. And I wouldn't be surprised, you know, if it was. But like I said, I think the history behind it, I think the bridge is really cool. You know, the way it looks, and it swings too. It moves, you know, just with me. You know, I'm not in a car, I'm walking. So, I mean, you can imagine what this thing must have been like driving across this in a car. And you can see she's not exactly got a high spot over here, you know. Of course, then again, hello ladies. How we doing today? Of course, it's a very old bridge now. Of course, that could account for some of the sag in the bridge. But I just think it's really pretty. I really do. I always did like the Pauley Bridge. I always thought it was really pretty. And the views off of it are pretty cool too, aren't they? But the history of it is what's really cool. And, you know, a lot of people, they drive right by this bridge every day and don't really give it a second thought. That's just wild though, isn't it? Compared to today, the way things are done, no. We don't do things that way now, do we? But just check out the I-beams. It has I-beams going under it. And like I said, there are no A-frame trusses out here. It's a full suspension bridge. Those big cables are the only thing holding the bridge up. There are no trusses underneath it. That is wild, isn't it? Can you imagine driving across this thing? No. But let's see. Pauley Bridge, designer O.S. Batten, contractor. See, there's local WPA crews. See that? That was the crews. They just put locals, like I said, just put locals to work. And it was something. How you doing? I'm pretty sure that most of them probably don't know the history of this bridge. Now you guys do. Pretty cool little story, isn't it? Look at these. Solid piece going all the way up. Looks like there's another piece welded on. Looks like it's been cut off of something else and repurposed to go here. And they're not uniform. You can see they're not uniform. They're just, you know, welded however they fell, however they laid, however they, you know. Just give me an 8-inch overlap and weld it. Call it a day. But you can see multiple pieces like right up there. it looks as though those were cut from something else and reused here on this old bridge to build this bridge. You can see where it's not. See, look at the span on this side, the cable. You see how the cable is up? Looks like it's a couple feet from the top of the handrail on this side. You see that? Now look over here at this side. It looks like that side just a few inches above the handrail. So, you know, it's not exactly geometrically perfect, but that wasn't the plan, you know, that wasn't the goal. But I mean, look at these. You can see this one right here. These are directly across from each other. Look how much of a space between here and here. That's probably, just guessing, I'm gonna say a couple feet. And this one right here, directly across from it, is all the way up on the buckles here. All right, guys. Well, I guess I better get on out of here. Still got stuff to do and places to go. Apparently, I got to go back and get my truck, come back to Pikeville so I can get it inspected, then get my rest of the paperwork done. Figures, don't it? This is life. This is life. Oh well, I get to run around a little bit today. We'll look at it that way, right? But how pretty is that? That is just really gorgeous, isn't it? So I guess we'll see you guys next time on the Hillbilly Files. You guys have a really good day, and we'll catch you next time out. See you guys later. Leo out.